Okay, and Rowan comes down with 8 loyalty, so target player gets an emblem. Whenever you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability, copy it. So that is pretty much double the loyalty abilities as well. This video is brought to you with thanks from NoGuff88. Lathril, Blade of the Elves versus Slimefoot the Stowaway, Maelstrom Wanderer, and a Seeker, God of the Tree. Pretty heavy hand there, but yeah, I might actually mulligan that one. If Heritage Druid was a regular mana dork, then I would keep that, but I think we'll go for the mulligan on that one. And of course, get into a much worse hand. If we have one more land there, we're on the play as well. That's a real shame. That's not a terrible hand if we have one more land. You'll have to go down a card. Alright, and now we've got a 2-lander, so I think... yeah, that's actually not a good hand either, but we'll keep that. Get rid of the Nadia, I think. Or do we get rid of Skemfar? There's no guarantee we're going to have a lot of creatures, so... yeah, we'll get rid of the Skemfar. And then we do draw on the opening turn in 1v1, and there is a land for us, so we'll get down the tap land and pass. Just some tap lands from my opponent, and the Slimefold went for Open the Gate, so searching for a basic or a gate. That is the Golgari Guild Gate, of course. And we drew into Skemfar Avenger. I am going for the Arcane Signet this turn. And that means that we'll be able to get the Lathril out next turn. Alright, a Seeker. Getting out a Shocked Hallowed Fountain came in untapped, followed by a Mana Crypt, and now it is Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner, deciding not to untap the Mana Crypt though. Alright, and surprisingly the other 2 players don't do anything on that turn either. So we get into a Lightning Greaves, which might actually change what we do here. We could go for Skemfar Avenger and Lightning Greaves then, and go and hit the Kiora. And then we can go Lathril next turn, equip the Greaves. I think that's a good idea. So we'll knock Kiora down to 4 loyalty here. Making some Azorius mana with the Hallowed Fountain by tapping down the Kiora, or knocking down a loyalty with Kiora. And oh good, Narset Enlightened Master. Coming down from a Seeker, so I'm not sure what the game plan is with this Seeker deck, but yeah, we've got a Narset to worry about now. Chromatic Lantern is the first piece of ramp from Maelstrom Wanderer. And we see the first commander of the game in Slimefoot the Stowaway on the Slimefoot player's turn 3. Coming round to turn 4 now. And that is a Reclamation Sage. Could get rid of the fast mana with that. I think our priority is to get these come in untapped, don't they? Yeah, create that many Elf Warrior tokens, so they will come in untapped. And we can still get through to the Maelstrom Wanderer player as well as the Slimefoot player, thankfully, although Slimefoot is going to make things difficult for us. So we'll make use of Lathril's Menace here. And Skemfar Avenger can go in towards the Maelstrom Wanderer player. We'll just show that we are spreading damage around. So damage goes through, and we will make a couple of elf tokens here. And yeah, no surprises there. The Narset Enlightened Master goes straight in towards the Maelstrom Wanderer because they can get it through there. And, yep. So it looks like it might be Superfriends, because they've got access to Ajani, Mentor of Heroes, Will Kenrith, and then there is a Talisman as well, a Golgari one. So throwing out the Will Kenrith immediately. And that does have partners, so they might be able to go and get Rowan Kenrith as well. And it turns out they did, so they do have that in the list as well. Obviously throwing out the Talisman and the Ajani also. And a Tezzeret the Seeker as well. Yeah, I was just wondering if we should take out the Mana Crypt or the Talisman if we go for Reclamation Sage next turn. Between the Kiora and the Tezzeret, they can actually make Wooburg for their commander. So getting rid of the Talisman is probably the best idea. That's their only means of green at the moment. And they get into a Garrett Cursed Huntsman as well. That was from the Ajani ticking up. And then they went for the plus on Kenrith. 2 creatures, base power and toughness, lose all abilities. Yeah, I'm not sure what they actually did that on. They went for the Skemfar Avenger and the Slimefoot with that. And I think they might have been able to... Yeah, I don't think they plussed the Tezzeret there. They could have gone after the Garrett Cursed Huntsman, but decided against it. So I think going after their colours is definitely the way to go. A Commander Sphere, more ramp from the Maelstrom Wanderer player. Okay, wasn't expecting that, and Imprisoned in the Moon from Maelstrom Wanderer as well, and that goes on to the Tezzeret. Yeah, this is where it would come in handy if we could better discuss plays with our opponents. I'd rather that went on the Will Kenrith, although they might want our creatures to get our abilities removed and stuff like that. But yeah, my plan is currently to hit my opponent with my commander. The couple of elves can go in towards Kiora to get rid of her, and then go for the Reclamation Sage on Talisman. So yeah, maybe getting rid of Tezzeret is still the better idea. They can't shoot her for other talismans that way. Maybe it screws up their colours. Alright, a Temple Bell I'm actually not against, because we need to be making more mana than this, preferably. They're only going to activate that at the end of the teamer player's turn, though, I imagine. No point in giving 3 players card advantage for during their own turns. So, okay, getting into a high market. I think we're okay to just throw that down straight away, so we'll do that. And then we'll go through to combat, so we'll do what I just explained. We'll get rid of the Kiora, and Lathril can go in at the Superfriends player. Very wary of the fact that Maelstrom Wanderer is only a couple of mana away, though. Okay, and surprisingly, the Temple Bell is being activated right now, so we'll draw a card here, and haven't played anything yet. Alright, Assassin's Trophy could be good. I'm wary of the fact that my opponents will be scared of us because we're an elf deck, so might save the Assassin's Trophy for when it's absolutely necessary. And meanwhile, our opponents can be concentrating on the Superfriends player a bit more than us. Maybe use some of their removal on the planeswalkers. I expect to see Beast Within and cards like that. So in that case, we will go for the Rec Sage here. And we'll get rid of the Talisman to try and mess up their colours. They've got access to blue now. Does that turn it into an island? Oh no, it's colourless, this. Alright, that's better. So yeah, they've effectively only got 3 colours because this can only tap for 1 at a time, and they've lost the Kiora now. So I'm hoping that slows them right down here. And now we can just hold up Heroic Intervention and Assassin's Trophy, I think. Well, instantly replacing their green source from the Talisman with a World Tree. It is a tap land, fortunately. And now looking at the top 4 cards with the Ajani again. And this time it is Kasmina Enigma Sage. That is the type of thing that we want to Assassin's Trophy, I imagine. Might be that we can take it out with some elf tokens though. We'll see if they still want to turn in sideways with Narset, because they might leave themselves wide open to attacks. Yep, they do decide to turn in sideways towards the still wide open Maelstrom Wanderer player, and they get themselves into a Smothering Tithe this time. So that could have been a lot worse. Didn't see any more planeswalkers there, but Smothering Tithe, pretty damn good. Oh, and of course the Maelstrom Wanderer player just decides to scoop. I did say in the lobby, no early scooping, but turn 5 is deemed long enough apparently. So apologies for that player scooping, I am playing against randoms here. And now that is the minus, I think. Target player draws 2 cards. Until your next turn, instant, sorcery and planeswalker spells that player casts cost 2 less to cast. Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. So they're giving the Golgari player some card draw in order to trigger the Smothering Tithe, in order to give themselves some colours. Yeah, if I'd actually paid attention to that, I might have gone for the Assassin's Trophy onto there, but then that would have fixed their colours a little bit anyway, so we'll continue to let the Superfriends player look like a threat. And a Bolas's Citadel. Yet another target for the Assassin's Trophy, so let's see how deep they want to go. You never know, they might just have a land on the top, although they can shuffle, because the, yeah, I didn't think of that, the Maelstrom Wanderer player has left, so Tezzeret is back online. Oh, Narset, Parter of the Veils. We don't actually have that much means of card draw here, so not necessarily something that we're going to worry about. Not worthy there's a Mana Vault on top. They've still got 7 cards in hand, so they're taking this from the Bolas' Citadel, I think. There is a Jace Mirror Mage. Yeah, like I said, we'll see how much life they want to go down by, because we might be able to buff the elves up a lot next turn and do an alpha swing towards them. They get a Scry 2 with Jace the Mirror Mage. Obviously can't kick it off the top with the Bolas' Citadel, but scrying some lands out of the way potentially. There is Talisman of Curiosity. A Farseek as well. Yeah, if they're having to dump life into fixing their mana and colours, then it's not necessarily the worst thing for us. Yeah, there's Chromatic Lantern. That's really good for fixing colours. Although I think... yeah, the World Tree does that when you've got 6 or more lands, which they do not have quite yet. 1 more land and the World Tree would fix their colours anyway. Garruk Wild Speaker can untap lands, which is not the best thing for us. I don't think they're going to be able to activate this though. Maybe this is just in here for colour fixing, as opposed to searching up gods. We'll let them carry on, I think, because they're all the way down to 12 life now. There is Royal Scions. Untapping a couple of lands. Doesn't really matter which ones they untap, because they tap for any colours thanks to the Chromatic Lantern. Looting with the Royal Scions. Discarding a command tower. Alright, and there is Doubling Season, so now we need to start worrying about commanders that they're going to get off the top. Are they going to have protection as well now that they've untapped? I mean, they could have gone for it anyway, because they had the Talisman, the Mana Vault, and the Hallowed Fountain untapped, so they had Teferi's Protection online anyway. Let's try and encourage them to take some more life, or tap down some more mana into a Planeswalker. They are tapping mana. Okay, Tameo Field Researcher. That will be draw 3 cards, get an emblem. And that is Omniscience, yes. So how's about Assassin's Trophy onto Doubling Season then? So we've successfully made our opponent sap a bunch of his life. And no doubt he was hoping to get the Omniscience there. So hopefully we can get rid of him with our elf tokens next turn. They went for the Tameo there, tap up to 2 non-land permanents. And they don't untap, so that is the Skemfar and the Reclamation Sage. Ajani coming down now. Gain life equal to the number of creatures you control, plus the number of Planeswalkers you control. So we're going to need a buff on our elves here then, because they've jumped up to 14 there. Now looking at the top 4 cards, they might be able to dodge some lands again. This is always the problem with Bolas' Citadel. If you can't make multiple lands a turn, then you can't get through the Bolas' Citadel. If you've made a land for the turn and then you've got a land on top, that's the one downside of it. But if you can keep shuffling things around, then you can try your luck with that. Chandra, Torch of Defiance, takes him down to 10 life. And that is 4 damage to the Slimefoot, the stowaway. Temple Belt being activated, we will draw a card there. Narset can't draw more than 1 card each turn, so they actually didn't draw a card for themselves there. But they gave one to us and the Superfriends player. We get into a land, so maybe we go for Nadia next turn. See what we draw into, obviously. There is a Wilderness Reclamation. At the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control, so maybe the Golgari player is going to have some instant speed stuff for us. And a Vampire Neonate. That is 2 and tap and drain each opponent for 1. So it's round to our turn. The other Golgari player untaps all the lands. And we pretty much need a big buff on our elves at this point. That would be 8, 9, 10 and 11. So if we get into some kind of Lord, that would be really good. Probably not going tapping though. No, there's a Guardian Project. So maybe pretty much the only thing we can do here is go Guardian Project and hold up the Heroic Intervention. So we want to make some elf tokens. I think we want to take out the Tamiyo so that it can't tap down our creatures again. That will encourage them to plus the Will Kenrith. It's probably the Superfriends players to win at this point. Maybe should have gone after the Bolas' Citadel more aggressively, but without the mono white Ajani that they had access to, I think we would have been in a pretty good spot to take them out here. Just unlucky on our part, I think. So we'll take that in at our opponent. We'll take out the Tamiyo. It's probably a good idea to take out the Chandra as well. And then how's about dealing a damage to Narset so that if they minus down on that, it will get rid of it. And then it's noteworthy that if we go Heroic Intervention in response to any kind of shenanigans on our creatures, I think we're going to have 9 here. Yeah, we're going to have 9. Then if we play the Nadia or another elf next turn, we'll be able to tap them down. And each opponent loses 10 and we gain 10. So hopefully that will be able to take out the Superfriends player, although they do still have the Ajani available to them. So we might as well go Guardian Project here and continue to hold up the Heroic Intervention. Would have been really good to have a Maelstrom Wanderer player's help here. At some point it's noteworthy that they have got a Dak Thaden as well, so they might steal the Lightning Greaves away from us. We'll try to. We do have Heroic Intervention, of course. And they've got Mana Crypt and Mana Vault to worry about. Not sure if they're going to untap the Vault or not, but that could potentially be 4 damage to them. Alright, that's exactly what we want. So they do get bolted. They go down to 4 with the Mana Vault as well. And now targeting themselves with the Will Kenrith, so yeah, they've maybe got instants and sorceries that they want to go for. I expect to see board wipes in a Superfriends deck. We've got 10 cards in hand now. And there's Ajani, Valiant Protector. Reveal cards from the top until you reveal a creature card, it goes into hand. So I wonder if this is kind of like a polymorph deck where they've only got X number of creatures like Narset and things like that. They can always grab what they want with this. Yeah, revealing the cards. So going for a creature. They end up revealing a bunch of stuff, but it is Vorinclex that they've got into. And they end up playing the Vorinclex Monstrous Raider straight away. That is a trample with haste. It's also another doubling season, unfortunately. So we just have to hope that we can go wide at this point, untapping the Chromatic Lantern and the Mana Vault. The Bolas' Citadel has pretty much been switched off at this point, at the very least, so they are pretty much reliant on just being able to cast things with their mana. A Rowan Kenrith now. Okay, and Rowan comes down with 8 loyalty, so target player gets an emblem. Whenever you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability, copy it. So that is pretty much double the loyalty abilities as well. Yeah, nothing we can do about them getting that emblem. So they gain a load of life here. We did take some planeswalkers away from them, thankfully. I think they gain 11 life twice here. Yeah, so jumping up to 26. Really need help from my Golgari friend over here. And the Narset continuing to do a bunch of work here. That will go in towards the Golgari player. Doesn't matter if they block or not, because this triggers on attack for some reason. Never really understood that. Prevent combat damage that would be dealt to creatures you control. They gain hexproof until the end of the turn. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't really do anything. Just trying to protect their Vampire Neonate for some reason. It might be a more casual player that we're up against here. So there we have ourselves an Arcane Signet, Prismatic Geoscope, Sol Ring, and Aminatu is going to be able to flicker stuff and have them come down with double counters. So playing out everything, no doubt we'll see everything that they just revealed here. There's the Aminatu being cast. Comes in with 6, and they could go for the -6 on that, although they have the best board, so it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Going for exiling and bringing back into play the Tezzeret the Seeker, and that will trigger twice thanks to the emblem in Rowan Kenrith. And the Tezzeret comes down with a bunch of loyalty, so going to be able to search for, I think, Yeah, they've gone for a -4 on that because it would have come down with 8 loyalty, so get to search for a couple of artifacts with CMC 4 or less, which might be some kind of effect that stops us attacking. Of course, that makes perfect sense. A Chain Veil. And just a Mox Amber as well. Surprised that we didn't see an Ensnaring Bridge or anything like that. Samut the Tested. With them having more life, it might encourage them to go with the Bolas's Citadel again. Search your library for up to 2 creature and or planeswalkers. Reveal them, put them onto the battlefield. Another limit break here. Search your library for up to 2 creatures and or planeswalkers. Put them onto the battlefield. And they'll get to do that twice. So that is 4 planeswalkers, no doubt. So now we've got a Tamiyo to worry about. That is an emblem, no max hand size. Whenever a card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, return it to your hand. They went for Nicol Bolas Dragon God as well. And then with the second activation, or the second resolve, Vraska, Relic Seeker, and Vraska the Unseen. They go for destroy a target permanent, so we'll wait for Rowan Kenrith to resolve first, because they might target something else of ours. Yeah, going after a token and a Lightning Greaves, so that gets rid of a couple of the Vraska activations. Although we've still got the Chain Veil to worry about, of course. And they could always have counter magic, I suppose. Might have the odd counter spell in this deck. Alright, but apparently not. We do get Hexproof and Indestructible on all of our stuff. So now gaining 100 life twice. I think, where was that? That was Ajani, Mentor of Heroes. They'll get that back into hand if they go for the Tamiyo emblem. Yeah. Going for 100 life twice obviously equals 222 life. And then it is Kasmina. So I think this is pretty much a Superfriends video at this point. They've got Chandra Flamecaller as well. I mean, they could just play out their whole deck with the Bolas's Citadel if they wanted to. Going for a Scry with Kasmina. And a Nahiri Harbinger as well. Wonder how many Planeswalkers they actually have in this deck. And all the Planeswalkers have the abilities of Kasmina, don't forget, so Nahiri is search your library for an instant or sorcery that shares a colour with this Planeswalker. Exile that card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost, so they have gone for Deploy the Gatewatch with that, because obviously that's white. And it is look at the top 7 cards of your library, up to 2 Planeswalker cards from amongst them, onto the battlefield, the rest on the bottom. And then they'll get to search for something else because they get 2 activations on their Planeswalkers, of course. And that got them into Kaya the Inexorable and Liliana Vess. Then Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. Return all legendary permanents from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, they've got a few Planeswalkers in there. So they will, of course, get all of those back, which is exactly why it's in here. So getting back the Ajani, Mentor Heroes, Rowan Kenrith, Tamiyo Field Researcher, Chandra Torch of Defiance, and Kiora Behemoth Beckoner. And I think they're going for another emblem there, yeah. -8 on the Rowan Kenrith, so that is another 2 emblems, because the first one will make 2 limit breaks here, so they get 3 Rowan Kenrith emblems. So now it's Chandra. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, it deals 5 damage to any target, and you will get 4 of those because you'll get 3 copies, thanks to Rowan Kenrith. So there we go, we see the 4 Chandra Torch of Defiance emblems, so whenever they cast a spell it is 20 damage to something. And then Tamiyo Field Researcher, that is... oh, they're going for draw 3 cards, get an emblem, cast spells without paying the mana cost, so yeah, doesn't really matter that they get multiple versions of Omniscience, but they do draw a bunch of cards doing this. So going up to 19 in hand, only 24 left in the deck. And now going for the emblem, no maximum hand size. Whenever a card is put into the graveyard from anywhere, you may return it to your hand. Probably should have done that before anything else, because they could have had the Rowan and... yeah, I think it's just the Rowan they've lost so far. Getting a heap of emblems here though. And it's Chandra Flamecaller, X damage to each creature. And they went for, yeah, killing that off outright. So Tamiyo will give them back the Chandra Flamecaller at the end of the turn. Doesn't tell me what X is currently, but they're going to get 3 copies of that thanks to Rowan. Oh, it's not at the end of the turn, it's... You may return it to your hand, so you just get it back straight away, okay? This is only damage to creatures and not players, though. And the copies aren't doing anything for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see if the original does anything. No, it didn't do damage to any creature. I'm not sure what the script is there. Anyway, casting a spell, Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. I've wanted to make like a black-blue Tezzeret deck for a long time because there's lots of awesome Tezzeret cards. Anyway, likely going to get rid of us here because they will deal 20 damage straight to us. Heroic Intervention doesn't give us hexproof, unfortunately. Just our permanents. So we drop down to 19 with that. And then they are going for X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control, and gain X life. Yeah, they've got a few artifacts, not an incredible amount, but when you're, you know, getting quadruple the number of activations, then obviously that mounts up. So we go down to 9 with the first hit, get knocked out with the other hit. So I think that was 10 per shot, and there we go, our opponent gets taken out as well. So yeah, seeing an awesome Super Friends deck there. Yeah, I've never seen a Super Friends deck that concentrates on gaining life, which is why I didn't preempt the Ajani Strength of the Pride. Where is the other Tezzeret? Yeah, this was gaining life as well. They ended up at 246. So obviously the turning of the tides there was the Bolas's Citadel, which we could have done something about. I was just hoping that my opponent was going to get really greedy, which they did, and take themselves down a lot of life. But either they had access to Ajani off the top, which was really lucky, or they might have cast it from hand, I can't remember. Either way, got to see an awesome Super Friends list, so hopefully you all enjoyed that one. Be sure to leave it a thumbs up and share it with your friends if you did. Be sure to check out Patreon as well, because that really does help out the channel. YouTube doesn't exactly pay the big bucks with ad revenue, so any support there would be massively appreciated. Big thank you to you if you decide to do that. I'm tribalkai on the eedi-H channel. Thank you for watching.